garage. Well, I'm sweating. It's hot out here, but I've been working on the hood. Now, I scratched my eyes, so I'm having to wear glasses. This is an awesome day, I'm telling you. I've been working on the hood in the back, and then I thought, you know what? I bought a spray booth, not the big one that I'm going to use to paint the whole truck, but I bought a smaller one, but I can't remember what size it was, how big, or anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and unroll it, inflate it, and see how big it is, and will it fit in the back? Do I have to do it in the front? So basically, this is an exploratory inflation to see how this paint booth, the smaller one, where I'm going to use it. But I had so many bugs last night trying to paint that hood that I gave up because there was gnats and flies and bugs and crap all in it. I need this booth just so I don't have to fight with that. So I'm going to blow it up and I'm going to see how big it is. All that to say, let's take a look. This thing is freaking awesome. This is what I'm going to be painting the hood in, man. I remember buying it, I just didn't remember what size it is, and I believe this will actually fit underneath the tent back there. So this should work just perfect for painting hoods and doors and all the other smaller stuff before I paint the body of the Jeep. So I'm pretty thrilled about this. Should keep down all the bugs and nastiness out of it. So I'm going to deflate it, and I'm going to take a look at putting it in the back. I'll use this to paint the hood tonight. Well, I got it moved around back, and yeah, it's kind of redneck, tell you the truth. But it fits in between my little shelter. So yeah, I can paint in here, no problem. I've got to hook up the other fan for the ventilation to blow through and open up the vents. But as far as like bugs go, this should stop all that crap. And it's got a hanger here for a light. I don't know, I've got to get a light in here. I might just use a tripod light, but as far as like painting the hood and stuff, this will be great. Let me tell you, I think this is going to work great. And it's covered. If it rains, it'll protect it a little bit anyway. But I'm going to wait till it cools off a little bit, and tonight I'm going to spray this hood and see how this little paint booth works, but I love it. Okay, what's that I just heard you say? Tell me a story, Dave. Okay, it's story time. When I was much younger, I used to buy my paint at a place called Auto Value, and I got to be really good friends with them. And let me tell you, this is a long time ago. This is the time of the days of like DuPont Centauri and Imron, and like clear coat really wasn't popular at all yet, so everything was single stage. But anyway, I got to be friends with the guys there, so I would just go back in the back and mix up my paint. Well, you would go in and there's this big mixing station, and you'd flip on the one switch and you hear this like this motor coming to life, and you hear a belt drive, and it's like ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Well, it had these things that went across that spun the tops of these mixing apparatuses that went on the top of the can. You would pull your tin out and it would still keep mixing, and then you would put on a scale your metal can and you would add your tint, and then you would go to the next one. You just stick it back in, and it was like kind of like a flapper thing. It came down and it would hit the top of it, and it would spin the paddle inside the paint. And the reason I say that is because that actually worked really well. Now, after yesterday's debacle of the paint can rusting out and trying to stir it up, this paint is extremely expensive, probably $150 to some of them up to $300 per gallon, right, on some of the base coats. So it's very expensive. I've got a brand new gallon here, and I've got a tool that reminds me of my olden days of mixing paint back at True Value when I was spray painting with no mask on. Probably shortened my life for about 20 years, but we'll see, right? Don't know the answer to that one yet, but let's take a look at what I bought that reminds me of those olden days that harken back to whatever. Let's just take a look. All right, so it's the old Mixing Mate pour, store, and mix, right? instead of being the old aluminum like I was used to, these are plastic, I believe, but it does the same exact thing with a crank on the top as the old ones. And I guess they had to put like a model on the front before the other ones, because anybody that's needing to mix paint really needs to see that. That's why I would buy this. No, it's not. All right, so I'm going to take this out. We're going to take a look at it, put it in this can and stir it up, see how it works. Oh, super cool. Although it's plastic, I would say this is almost identical to the old tent mixing bucket things, and we're going to put it on this can, see what happens. But see, you can see that it would keep mess to a minimum, easy to pour. You lock it down, it keeps the air out. Super awesome. I really like this. Alright, so there's the paint, and this just goes in the bucket. Oh yeah, the solids are in the bottom, I can tell. There we go. Okay, I put the handle on it, and all you do is lock it down. It's got a gasket, and it locks to the edge of the can, and you can just stir the paint up. Man, that is freaking awesome! You can see how nice this is to keep you from spilling the paint. This thing is advantageous a couple ways. First, that it's easy to pour out of. Second, it's easy to stir it up. I guess if you wanted to put a drill on here, you could, but I mean, it's not that big a deal just to sit here and stir it a little bit. And the veins are real big in there, so it should mix it up fairly well. I am thrilled with this. They're not that expensive. I want to say it's like 24 bucks maybe. And if you think about spending, say, $300 or even $150 on a can of paint, then that's a pretty small price to pay to keep it airtight and be able to mix it up. So super cool, and no big paint spills. Awesome. I love this thing. I'll probably buy a couple more, one for primer and maybe one for the blue. But I also think you could clean it off. You put it in an empty can with some lacquer thinner and shake it up and just stir it around, probably could clean it off. We'll see. But this was a really good purchase for a little bit of money, and it solves a lot of problems. Awesome. It's starting to cool off a little bit now. It's probably like 89 degrees, 88, but I went ahead and ran my extension cord like a redneck through the window to my bedroom. So it's going to be on a different circuit than the little shop over here, because I'm afraid of blowing a circuit breaker. And I'm going to turn it on and let it run for a while to make sure that there's no issues with the fans blowing, which I don't think there should be at all. And then we're going to get ready to paint that hood. I'm excited about this. Awesome. I'm waiting for the sun to go down just a little bit more, and it should drop another 5 or 10 degrees outside, which is going to be tolerable inside that hothouse. Well, I got all the color on it and it looks great. I'll say this, it's nice not having to worry about bugs getting into it. And I can see all the bugs on the outside of the tent. And I don't know how I could paint it without having this tent around me. Got my Speedo line clear that I'm using and got it mixed up, ready to go. Looks good. We'll take a look at it in the morning. I'll let it dry overnight, turn off these lights, get the bugs away from me. Well, that's gonna be it, man. This thing looks beautiful. I'm super happy with the way the hood turned out. I rushed a little bit through it. As far as, like, I got a little run somewhere over here. It's hard to see in white. Yeah, right there, there's a little run. But as far as that goes, who cares? It's the bottom of a hood. More than anything, I'm glad to have that little paint booth and also get back in the groove of painting again. So hopefully I can knock the rest of this out relatively quickly. So the hood looks absolutely awesome. I'm super happy with the way it turned out. Let's recap. Paint booth, super great. No bugs in the paint. That's one of the rare times that I've sat there and gone, man, I'm not having to pull a bunch of stuff out. So that worked absolutely fantastic. It fit in the space that I needed it to. So that was awesome. New paint mixing can, that's a winner. I'm happy about that. I'm back on the horse painting again. I'm going to let the hood dry for a couple days just so it doesn't stick to the guards on the stand. But once that happens, then I'm going to shoot the top of it and we'll be off to the races. The body itself of the tub, man, it's in great shape. I got one dent near the back wheel that I'll fix, and then I'll start doing the doors and the tailgate. But I think I'm going to be able to knock this out relatively quickly. I got my fingers crossed. I really do appreciate you being a subscriber, watching my videos. Any question or comments, post them below. I'm moving on. Thanks for watching. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.